And once again, my name is Leo Luera, forgive me. I'm part of the Orange County Realtors. I'm the Super Member Services Specialist. I've been with the board for 15 years. Cassie Cardenas is joining us today. Hello, Cassie. And,
Hi.
and she's been with us for, like I said, in the first class, we had 11 o'clock today. She's been with us for over 3 decades. And so she started when she was probably 5 years old. And no, probably 6 years old, I'm guessing. So she's been with us as well. She's part of our education team, and she's our education director. But here's my information in case you need to reach out to me. My email address is leo@ocrealtors.org. My phone number is 714 area code 375-9313, and my extension number is 239. Feel free to reach out to me. If for some reason I don't answer the phone when you call, it might be because I'm sitting here talking to an individual via a webinar, or I might be in the office helping an individual one-on-one with some of their questions that they may have. Because after all, I do membership, Supra, and answer a bunch of other questions. Okay. Regarding the office outreach trainer portion there, I have taught a number of different classes. Some of it membership, Supra, zipForms over the years during the pandemic, and since then, we're just strictly doing webinars at this time. In the future, we'll be doing some, maybe some live classes and some hybrid classes. So we'll go over that. We'll notify you and in the future when that happens. So getting started, today's advanced tips. So we're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna say these things. Some of it is not gonna make sense, but after today, you'll be like, oh, I know what mutually exclusive checkbox field means. So, and you'll be able to share that with others. So, mutually exclusive checkbox field, we'll talk about that. Auto adding addendum, text overflow addendum, clause manager, creating listing transaction with RPR, share function. So we're going to do all this within the next 90 minutes. Mutually exclusive checkbox field. So those of us who took a logic class back in college, this is going to sound familiar. If A, not B. So a perfect example of an A, not B situation would be if it's an all cash offer, then it cannot have loan information. So we're going to look at the residential purchase agreement, section page 1, section 3A and 3E. So I'm going to log into my zipForms because I wanted to start off fresh with this one. How many of you were able to join us for today's class? You could talk in the Q&A section and just say yes or no for that. But hopefully you picked up some of the things I'm sharing with you. And I hope that this will help out as well. So if those of you had joined us today at 11, thank you and welcome back. So if A, not B, we're gonna, and there's a number of different forms that you may encounter that have a similar scenario, but we're gonna go over this one. If A, not B. So we'll look at documents within this particular transaction. I'm just grabbing one. Residential purchase agreement. If A, not B. You're getting kind of tired of if A, not B. I know, but you will get used to that. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. Here it comes. Residential purchase agreement. If A, not B. So here we go. If A, not B. So if I click here for the all cash offer, let me scroll down just a little bit. You're going to see some changes on this website. So I'm going to click it. And then suddenly all this information, loan information disappeared. Let me do it again. Unclick it. Oh yeah, there it is, all there. Click it again, and it disappears. So the idea was that in the past, before they had put this into effect into the contracts, there were some contracts being submitted with all cash offers and loan information, which was making people very confused, as you can tell, because there's no way it could be an all cash offer and then you have loan information. It's either all or nothing. So hence, if A, not B. So you'll run into these things from time to time. So if you were to click something, you see something disappear, now you know why. So once again, this is called the mutually, let me say it again, the mutually exclusive checkbox field. Okay, next one. Auto adding addendum. So if you click with that, you will be including a form. If you're in a form, then zipForm will automatically add that form for you. So, so refer to RPA, page 4, property addenda and advisories. And then we'll also show you if you accidentally add it, we can remove it as well. By the way, if you have a question about anything, go ahead and put it in the chat. Just type in that you have a question and I'll answer the questions for you as we go along, as well as Cassie will assist us with that as well. So going into zipForms for the auto adding addendum, page 4. So I scroll down just a little bit. Here we go. Property addenda and advisories. So if you see here, there's all these different forms, PA-PA, MH-PA, and so on. So if the scenario that we're in right now, we're working with a client, if I were to click probate agreement purchase addendum, it's automatically added. How do I know? Well, I just go back. Let me just go back. And then what I'm going to see here is the probate agreement purchase addendum. See, it's right there. So we want to duplicate that again. Let me show you. So if I were to say short sale addendum, I click that and it automatically adds it. And how do I know that? I just go back to that transaction, the list of documents once again, and there's a short sale addendum. Now, if I made the mistake of adding, say, the probate by mistake, I can always delete it by clicking this drop-down arrow and click delete. Because if you were to go back into the RPA and uncheck mark it, it would still stick around. See, if I uncheck mark that and the short sale, it would not do any changes for you. It would just change just the contract alone. So as you see, because I already deleted the probate, it's not there, but the short sale addendum, I can delete that. I have to delete that if I don't need it. So there are a few contracts that will automatically add another contract in a given situation. So you may want to take a look at that as well. So you'll see that if you need to add anything, you just simply click the form that you need and it automatically add it. So if it comes up, go ahead and do so. So those are two things we've learned so far. So going back to some more tips. So we learned about that one. So next one is text overflow addendum. So the text overflow addendum will automatically add the addendum when the text is more than the display field. So kind of like Twitter, when you back in the day was only limited to 140 characters, you can only do a certain amount of typing and then that's it. It wouldn't allow you to go further. Now with the text overflow addendum within zipForms in a lot of areas on the app, on the contracts, you can type to your heart's content and then the system will automatically add a text overflow addendum. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. So the text overflow addendum, the TOA form, will be added to the end of the documents list. It will display the contract, the page, and the section. I'll show you that as well. And it can be used in any contract requiring text in a certain area. We'll automatically add more TOA forms if the first page is full and complete. So if you're doing providing a lot of detail, it will keep adding more TOA forms as you go along. I'm not going to go more than one page, so otherwise we'd fall asleep. We're going to go refer to the RPA once again, page 2. section G2. So I'm going to go back into it. And RPA is just a perfect platform to show you all this information. That's what I like about it. Okay, so additional finance terms. I'm going to pick on this one right here because I happen to come across it. So I'm going to write down the word start. And then I'm just going to add some gibberish. You know, what I'm doing, I'm just typing in keys. And I'm pretending that I am really writing a note, giving you additional detail about what that's important. And we're going to, you know, please don't pay attention to that. Yeah, because of course, in your real world situation, you're going to write actual words and it's going to be applicable to the situation. So, and then we end the word with end. And maybe thank you. Just make it sound nice. So I've typed in quite a bit. So as you see, it starts with the word start and it ends with the word end, thank you. And if I were to click on the side, you're not going to see the word end nor thank you. So how do I know it created a TOA form? Let's go over here to the right where it says preview. So I go to preview. Give this a moment, because now it's going to show you the changes you made to the RPA contract. There we go. So we're going to look at the RPA contract. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Stop calling me Shirley. Okay, almost there. So we are at G2. So look at G2. See text overflow addendum, CAR form, TOA, paragraph 1. And where is the TOA form? I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom. So here we go. Text overflow addendum. See, there it is. So if you did this for a lot of different contracts within your transaction, you would see that it would start off by the contract that you're in, this section, and then adding, and then title of it, adding additional financing terms in this particular one. And it shows everything that you wrote. So you don't have to be concerned about, oh my goodness, I only have so much space. What do I do to type this up correctly and send out the right message to whomever needs to read this? You don't have to worry about that. This allows you to do that. Now, does it work for the entire contract? No. It works for most areas that you're going to encounter where you have to write down a lot of text. So text overflow addendum. So that comes in handy, especially when you have to do descriptions, agent visual inspections, other areas where it requires a lot of description. So that is a text overflow addendum. So now the next one that we're going to look at is going to be the clause manager. Is everybody okay so far? I mean, I haven't lost anybody because I know it's like mutual exclusive checkbox field, the auto adding addendum, the text overflow addendum. So I hope these are not groundbreaking changes. It's just, these are tools that are going to make things a little bit easier for you when you write up a contract. Thank you, Elsie. So we go back. We're going to go to clause manager. So clause is a verbiage that may be used for often needed forms or for forms that are rarely used but require specific wording. Personal clauses are ones created by the user, us. Library clauses are from the broker if you have a broker edition. There's additional cost for the broker to use the broker edition. Then the agents have to use that broker edition per the broker's request. We will focus only on the personal clauses though. We're going to create a clause. It's going to have a category, a clause title, clause wording. Then there's a pencil icon. I'm going to show you more information about the pencil icon. So clause manager. Excuse me. So I'm going to back up out of this contract, backing up out of this transaction. And I go over to here under dashboard tools. So here's the clause manager. So a little paper kind of scrolled up a little bit. Looks like a document. So I click Clause Manager. So for personal clauses, there's nothing here. And in your case, you probably won't have any personal clauses. I think that in the very near future, you're going to be creating personal clauses because you're going to have different scenarios where you need specific wording in certain documents that you're going to use on a regular basis, or it's going to be those unusual times when you need a specific phrase when dealing with an unusual situation. For example, a short sale or a foreclosure, probate. So rather than contacting your broker over and over again to get the right wording, you input this clause, personal clause once, and then that's it. And then you refer to that clause whenever the time it needs, whenever you have the time to use it. So I'm going to create a new clause.
So Leo, is this kind of like a template that you're creating this clause? So they can just use kind of your copy paste clipboard kind of easy way to do this?
The mentality is like a template because you're pulling something that you do on a regular basis, a template, and you pull it into an application that requires that. And that would save you time. A template, you're pulling in forms, contracts that you use on a regular basis. A clause, what you're going to do is pull in wording that you use on a regular basis, or you use on an infrequent basis that it's kind of hard to remember, like, okay, last time I did a probate was probably 6 years ago. What's the right wording for this? Don't worry, you do it the first time and then that'll take care of it, assuming the legal wording hasn't changed. And so you want to double check, of course, with your broker or the CAR legal department. So yes, Cassie, good question. Is it very similar to that? And the answer is yes. So if we go into category, we'll start with a buyer. Clause style. Okay. How about at close of escrow? Now, I'm going to start with what I'm doing here is just an example. You are not going to duplicate the same thing that I am going to do in the future. In this example, you are not going to use the same wording in your real life scenario. So we're going to write in at close of escrow, seller will provide cookies. Yes, you're laughing, but I'm just showing you how to use the software. So we're using a clause, some wording that we may use on a regular basis or infrequently, and we're going to save it when the time is right. If I need to create a new clause, I create a new clause. If I'm representing a seller in this case, at close of escrow for buyer, buyer will be responsible Okay, you're kind of giggling. I hear that from over here. I know. But in this scenario, I'm putting down wording that is going to be used in a situation that may or may not happen. So I'm going to save it. So now we have two clauses: at close of escrow, the buyer's category; at close of escrow for buyer, the seller's category. So I'm going to close this up and we're going to show you how to use that. So I'm going to go into a transaction. Once we go back in, and then I'm going to go into documents. Let's pick on the residential purchase agreement again, because we're doing that all the time. So rather than saying all this fun stuff, let me just hit delete. Oh, I guess it doesn't let me delete it, so I have to do it manually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all this information. and then I'll show you how to add the clause. So when we go into a field that allows this pencil, thank you, when this pencil pops up, I click the pencil, and this is the clause icon right here. I'll explain what these are in just a moment. So this is the clause manager. I click it, and then I'm going to choose the category of seller, and then choose that particular wording and click insert. Of course, if I'm representing the other party, I'm going to still use the clause manager. Click the clause icon manager. I'm in the buyer category and click insert. So you see here that what I've created as clauses have automatically been added. So you're going to do that from time to time throughout many different contracts. You're going to put down a phrase, a sentence, a paragraph, what needs to be in a particular area on a contract. And this will be easier to go automatically paste it in this section that you need it, rather than do it time and time again, writing everything up by scratch. So this will save you a lot of time. So one more thing, since we're in the clause manager, we kind of looked at like one additional thing. That pencil showed off some letters. So if you see that the way I wrote it, it's typically the first letter of the sentence is capitalized, and then I made buyer capital and I made seller capital. But if you want to add a little more emphasis, you can click this choice, and then every word starts with a capital letter. So that makes it a little bit, it provides more emphasis. If you want to de-emphasize everything, then every letter is going to be lowercase. If you want it to be screaming at you, there it is. It's screaming at you because you really want cookies and milk for some reason. So there it is. Is there a way to undo it to the way I typed it up originally? No. So you're only given those three different choices: to emphasize only the first letter, lowercase everything, or capitalize everything. So you don't need to be screaming. So we're just going to capitalize just the first letter because it's just easier on the eyes. So that is the clause manager. Any question about the clause manager? Well, I go back into this clause manager. See, clause manager is going to save you a lot of time because you're not going to have to memorize a whole paragraph of information. You just put it on the clause manager and then pull it out when you need to. So that'll be great. See, these little this time saving tips I'm giving you is just going to make life so much easier. So I'll go to the next one. Create listing transaction using RPR. Now, before I go on, how many of you, please go ahead and notate in chat, how many of you have ever used RPR, Realtors Property Resource? And if you don't know, that's okay, because I'm going to talk about it right now. Now, the Realtors Property Resource is a realtor benefit specific to you. It's going to make things a lot easier when you look for properties, not only locally, but also nationwide. So as you see here, it says, the Realtors Property Resource can assess property tax data from all properties nationwide, listed and unlisted. The Realtors Property Resource, RPR, helps listing agents populate info into zipForms. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. And you can activate RPR through Crmls, and let me show you where that's at. So I've already done the logging into Crmls. And normally when you log into Crmls, you see all the different tools that are available to you. This is your dashboard. So when we're in the dashboard, one of the tools is RPR, the Realtors Property Resource. So it's right there. So when I click it, you're going to go ahead and click it. Then in your case, it's going to ask you to link to your RPR account. Now it's going to require your nine-digit National Realtor Database System ID number. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to either contact us for assistance, or you can follow the links to retrieve your NRDS ID number. Now, if you call us, We may not say it's your National Realtor Database System ID number because it's just too much to say. We're going to call it your NERDS ID number, so it'll make it easier. So once you log in and link up your RPR with your CRMLS account, now you've pulled data from CRMLS, and you can be able to look at properties locally. So if you wanted to look at houses for sale, for example, let's look at Laguna Hills. And of course, that's California. There we go, California. And we're going to look at not just public records, we're going to look for those that are for sale. Here we go. And active listings. Oops, active listings. There we go. Should be. Okay, that's what I thought. So I click search, and there it is. So in a way, you can kind of like use it as an MLS service, but it's not really an MLS service. It pulls data straight from MLS, CRMLS, because it pulls data because they have an agreement between CRMLS and RPR. And there's more filters you can work down, because I had it on condos. So if I do it for all, of course, it's going to pull in more properties. Instead of 7, it's going to be 29. So if I click update and search, you're going to see all 29 properties for sale throughout Laguna Hills. See? So that's great and all, but let's look for a property that's not in MLS. So we're going to use one from long ago. Now, this was a home that I lived in for the first 5.5 years of my life. 2316 Hill Lane. 2361 Hill Lane. It was a small wooden house purchased by my parents for $17,000. You know, the value of the house has gone up from $17,000 to $1.4 million. Yeah, it's gone up a little bit. You know, and dear old dad and mom, you know, they did a great job of selling the house back in, what year was it? Oh, it's 1979. They sold it for a whopping $68,000. Oh, they made a killing on it. It was awesome. Back in 1979, I mean, dad got tired of going back and forth fixing up the house. So I ended up selling to David and Karen. So they bought this house, and it's a 5-bedroom, 1-bath. Yeah, so wait in line. Kind of weird, but beautiful thing about this house, it was literally on a hill, and then it had a kitchen that overlooked the hill. And then sometimes when you would get a clearer view, you would see the ocean, and then the Goodyear blimp would go by at night. We loved it as kids. It was awesome. But most of the time it was foggy, so you had trouble seeing and making out the ocean. But more importantly, we also had a basement too, because it was up on a hill. So we had a small little basement that we could store our stuff in. Anyways, enough about this house that was built in the 1930s. So you see that this house has the information on it, has who owns it, some of the dimensions on it as well. You have the ability to edit the value of it. So if it's in an area of high demand, you could indicate that. If it needs work on the property, then you can indicate that. That'll adjust the value of the home as well. If there are 2 bathrooms, you can make changes to that. Excuse me. If it's not, you can just reset it. You know, you can just, this is information that's not gonna be uploaded to RPR. It's only in your record. So you can toy with this. You want to know what the schools are like? There you are. A+ schools. You better have A+ schools on a $1.4 million price home. And then the other information, walkability, not so walkable, because a lot of the markets were good distance away to get to. So I remember that as a kid, but there was an elementary school nearby, which was awesome. You could play there all day long. So it has the homeowner's information, legal information, and tax information. So you can go through it, but I'm going to teach you how to create a transaction straight from here. So if I were to talk to David and Karen, and I'm a realtor, and I just happen to be like, oh, you know what? Would you be interested in selling your home? And we had built rapport, and they said, yeah, I'll be interested in selling my home. So I can go to RPR and I can click connect. Now you're going to go through more steps, unlike I am going to show in this demonstration, because You now have to link your zipForm account by using your CAR credentials, your CAR login, username and password. But you're going to link that zipForm account over to RPR. So not only will RPR be linked to your CMLS account, it's going to be linked to your zipForm account. So this is going to push the information from RPR into zipForms, and I'm going to show you that right now. So start a new zipForm transaction. I have to choose a type. It's going to be a listing because I'm representing now David and Karen. They're going to sell the house. I click OK. Now I go to zipForms. Now it's pushing that information over to zipForms. It's telling you right here, just be patient. Don't let it do anything unless it takes a long time. If it takes a long time, then you can click there if you wanted to, or there, but I would say just wait. Sometimes the internet's a little bit slower than others. They're starting to look familiar. This is my zipForms. And sure enough, it is. And there it is, 2316 Hill Lane, Redondo Beach. And look at the information. Yes, lot number 4, 2316 Hill Lane is in the county of LA, Redondo Beach Unified School District. Block number 7, there's the APN number, built in 1936, a few years before I was born. And other information, and you could, and as you as the representing the seller, you could start inputting some of the information here. But I just wanted to show you how this information from RPR moved all the way to zipForms. So, and then you can also see that under parties, parties, there's David. So you can look at David and you can start add information of David, you know, his address, 2316 Hill Lane. You can add his email address, his phone number, etc. If it's going to be a trust, then you input the information of the trust there. Who's going to sign on behalf of the trust down here? So that is how you push a listing from RPR into zipForms. Oh, I see something on chat. Can you help us how to link both systems? You know, I would like to, but once you do it, once you link your zipForms to RPR and link your RPR to CMLS, that's it. You really can't unlink it and then link it again. So I really can't go through those steps, unfortunately. You will actually have to do it on your own. But you just want to follow the steps. I would, once again, emphasize that when you do link RPR, you go through CMLS dashboard, click RPR, and then it's going to require you to log in and create an account through NAR's website. Now, if you're kind of wondering like, okay, let me just take a look at RPR on its own. Sure, you can do that. The website's narrpr.com. Let me say it again, narrpr.com. So when you go to that website, you're gonna have to log in. It's gonna be asking for your 9-digit national realtor number and other information. You're gonna go in and create it. You may have to use your NAR credentials, not your CAR, not your CMLS credentials, just your NAR credentials. That's a mouthful. But I recommend, as well as Anthony would recommend, just to go through your dashboard, because once you go through the dashboard, it ties it in to RPR. So you don't have to go through little extra hoops to make sure they're connected. So RPR. So, and you know what, and use it, honestly use it. Take a look at, we can look at Austin, Texas. Everybody's been talking about Austin, Texas. Oh, I should move to Austin, Texas. Well, I did think about it too. And you're going to find that properties for sale in Austin, Texas are a little bit pricey now. They're, oh, wow. I found some land for $6,700. That sounds weird. But anyways, you can use the filter and look at single family homes. Let's just see what single family homes look like. Update and search. Yeah, there's a lot. But goodness gracious, it's hot out there. Okay. Cheaper than I thought it would be, actually. So I'm impressed. Okay. So if you want to look at properties nationwide, you can do so. Now, mind you, that when you do look in certain areas, you may not pull any information about homes for sale because that MLS in that area may not participate with RPR. So you won't get any data on it. All right, so that's RPR. And you know what? If you're looking for classes, we teach classes on it. CMLS teach classes on it. If you want to go the extra mile, you can look at, there's a blog. The blog will help you understand how to use RPR because they have a number of different videos. And you can generate reports and make it specific to that home. And that way you can show the homeowner, hey, I'm the agent with all the answers about this property and no one else does. So definitely take advantage of it. Get started. You can use it for residential or commercial. So take advantage of RPR. It's there for you. Your membership is already paid for it, so do take advantage of it. So enough about promoting RPR. Where were we? zipForms. There we are. So we create a contract. We're going to do the share function. Now the share function is going to take a little bit more brain power on this one. So the share function allows agents to discuss forms with other agents, clients, and other parties. It's compatible for audio and video function, chat, and screen share. We're not going to do that. We're just going to show you how to do a contract situation. The great thing about sharing is that it deters wasted time and energy going back and forth due to misunderstandings. So we're going to show that in just a moment. And for mentors, if you're a mentor, you can use this tool to educate new agents and show them how to use zipForms on your own. And you can share multiple contracts and forms. So let's get out of this and let's go into zipForms. All right, so going back, let's go back out and we're going to go to that one transaction that we just created, 2316 Hill Lane. Now we're going to do it from the perspective of helping out David sell this home, but he has a, I have to provide him with an email address because he needs an email address in order to, he needs an email address to participate in doing all this fun stuff that we're going to teach for work. And in case you're wondering, like, oh, what's this cool email address? Okay, this is one that I use just for demo. So I'm not going to be responding to emails in here. So just in case you're wondering. Okay. So it's just something I use for demos. Okay. So I have him, and I've already gone through, we're fast forwarding. He's already signed the contract with me. It's great. I'm happy. What I am going to do is that I need him to fill out I believe a TDS is the name of the contract. Residential Estate Transfer Disclosure Statement. Or how about, let's see, SPQ. SPQ. Seller Property Questionnaire. Let's work on that one. That's the one I'm looking for. So if I look at the Seller Property Questionnaire, I'm going to open it up. And let's see. So you saw some areas where I can type in information. You see some gray areas where I can't do anything on it. See, yeah, I can't do anything on it because its responsibility is for the seller one. So I can't do anything with that. So I have to send this out to seller one to fill out this information. Okay, it's fine. You see, there's a lot of information there that seller one has to go through. And also, if we go into TDS, same thing. The TDS version, grayed areas out. I can't do anything with this. It has to be my client, the seller one, to be able to do this. Now, if you have a seller one and a seller two, spouses typically, only seller one can fill this out. If seller one is not available, seller two can't do this. So you have to make sure you put in the right have a conversation first is who's going to be seller one, who's going to be the one to go over this particular form, SPQ, seller property question, or TDS, I should say, who's going to go over this form, because otherwise you're going to have to change it, make one person make a person a seller one, and then the other one has to be seller two. So just make sure you get that clear. So seller one is going to fill this out. So how do we share this with them? We go back. We're in the cat. We're going to be in a spot. Let's see. There we go. Let me move this out of the way for a second. There we go. So we're going to look at parties. Now, for many of you, you're like, what's this group of people here? Well, that group of people is the share function. So you click share. Now I want my client, David, to be able to edit that form because he's going to be the seller one. And he can upload the documents. He won't need to, but he can. He doesn't need to view the history. And there's a stop sharing date. Now I'm going to say, rather than waiting all the way up until July 9th, no, I'm not going to wait that long. I'm impatient. I want this done ASAP. So I'm going to say, I need this done by June 10th. And I'm only giving them today and tomorrow because I want this done so I can be able to take care of the next step. So make sure you emphasize to your client when it needs to be done by, because otherwise the share function is going to stop and you have to do it all over again. So which one are we going to share? We're going to share the TDS. That's probably a fun one to do. So I'm going to save and send. Here's David's information. Dear David, now why did it flip the last name and the first name? I don't know, but it did it. I'll have to look into that later, but that's his name. You could write a note here if you wanted to. You don't have to necessarily do so because you as the agent has been in correspondence with your client because you know that, hey, this client has to fill out this form before we can go to the next step. So what does the next step look like? Well, let me show you. We're going to go into Gmail. Now, mind you, David has a computer. David has email. David is okay with receiving correspondence back and forth. If David's not comfortable with this, you're printing out this form and taking it over to him. So, and Redondo, from wherever you're at to Redondo Beach, it's gonna be a long drive and you don't want to be in bumper to bumper traffic at that time. So hopefully everything's okay. So we open up this email. David's opening up this email, I should say, and you can be on the phone with him at this time, and be mindful of what it's going to look like. So David has received an email from the agent, you, in this case, it's me, Leo, and he's going to click view documents. So David's clicking it and he's going in and he's going to be wondering, well, what is this? Well, what do I do? Don't worry, it's a zip community by Lone Wolf. In order for you to share documents with somebody else, your client has to open up a zip community account. This is how you protect the data that's going to be going back and forth with you and the client and whoever you discuss information to. So since David has never signed in to zip community, this is all foreign to him. It's like, don't worry, I got you. What you're going to do is you're going to create an account. So I want you, and you're going to emphasize, he could either do it through Facebook, through Google+, or he can just create his own username and password. Now for me, and as well as my coworker, Anthony, we both feel that we're not comfortable with Facebook nor Google+ getting data of your client who's engaging in a real estate business. We don't need them to know that data. How secure is it there? I don't know. So to be on the safe side, I am going to emphasize to David to create a username and then create a password that he can memorize. So he's like, okay. So first of all, I can't be able to change this information. Why did it do that? I don't know, but it did. And we'll call this David H. No, David H. and Redondo Beach 1. Okay. David H. and Redondo Beach 1. Okay. Password. I'm not going to tell you. Okay. Did I make it okay? See, I've been practicing a lot, so I have this little message with the same email address. You can disregard it, but if you practice back and forth setting information back in yourself to try out doing this share function or having someone practice doing a zip community account, you can just continue with this email. So don't be alarmed by that message there. So I create the account. The account has been created successfully. And then once again, just like any other software, we want to make sure that the client understands their right, the rights plural. So this is the end user agreement. I recommend that before you engage in this conversation with the client, print this up. So that way your client, in case the client has any questions, you can be able to answer these questions. Your client has a question of page 2, you're able to answer those questions. You have a copy of it on hand. So what I would like you to do once again is print that, save it, so that way you can easily go over that information with your client. So if your client, David, is comfortable with this, then you're going to click, I have read and agree to the terms of Lone Wolf, and continue. So of course, David's not going to be like, oh, what's all this? Don't worry, go into documents. Just walk him through it. Go into documents. You're like, okay, I see a document. You see the real estate transfer disclosure statement. Yes, I do. And be patient, because a lot of times they don't know what this stuff is. Then the first thing, like, what do I do with the purple section? Don't worry. Purple section is just for me to fill out. You won't have to touch that. But I would like you to go over the highlighted blue sections. So I want you to go line by line and go over the blue sections. Oops, there we go. Come on. Okay. Why is it asking for that? No. Well, that was weird. That was giving me an error message. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to move on. Move on. Okay, I'm going to skip this because it's giving me a weird error message. Something to look at later. So seller is occupying the property. Now you say, okay, this section, David, I want you to go step by step. I want you to make sure that you let me know that there's a microwave, there's an oven, there's a range, there's a dishwasher, trash compactor, and so on. So you go through it. Take your time with this. Oops, not that. Great to hear. Let's see. No pool. Gazebo, sure. Yeah, I got a gazebo. Central air, oh sure. Yeah, I don't like hot weather, even though I'm right next to the beach. Yeah. And let's say water, city. Yeah, lovely. Garage. I think it was detached, not attached. That's it. Let's say that David says, Leo, I'm done, all done. They're like, great, do me a favor. I need you to click the save button on the top left section. Do you see the save icon? Yes, Leo, I see the save icon. So I save it. Great, now you're the agent. Now let's just double check those answers. Because you're like, I want to make sure he didn't make any mistakes. So you go back out, go back into your transaction. Go look at that document. Make sure the TDS is filled out correctly. You're like, okay, pulling it up. And then you will see that the sections that he's completed are here. It's kind of hard to see because it's, it's grayed out, but there we go. You see that there's like dark blue with the gray background. It's kind of hard to see, but you're like, you're still on the phone with David. You're like, David, yes, Leo, do you have washer dryer hookups? Yes, Leo, you didn't put that in there. Okay, I'll go and check that on just a moment. But before you do that, do you have, say, gas that comes into the house? Yeah, natural gas, of course. That powers up the washer and dryer. Well, the dryer really. Well, you didn't check the box. See, had we not done the share function, you would have gone through the process of emailing this out to the client or digital ink sending this to the client would have done their portion of it. If they skipped these portions and signed it and you caught the error, you're sending out another digital signing service out to the client, letting them know, hey, you got to do it from scratch all over again. But if you use the share function, this share function is going to catch those errors before you have them sign it. So you like go, okay, well, let's have David fix this. So Dave goes back in. Dave's like, okay, I made a mistake. Okay, washer dryer hookups. Gas is utility. Get over there. Get out of my way. There you go. There we go. I don't know why that window pops up. And any serious malfunctions? No, etc. It's fine. And so all this looks good. And it looks great. And then of course, Dave would go through all the rest of it. And then you would click save. Then you, the agent, would be like, okay, let's see if it's been done. I just want to make sure because I don't want any drama when I show this off. Make sure I tell my broker that it's complete. And there it is. Gas supply, utility, yes. And then washer dryer hookups, yes. So what you've done using sharing, you save so much time, so much energy, and so much frustration, possible frustration with doing this back and forth with your client. So this is a huge plus for everyone to benefit from. Anyone see any other functions of using a share function, or anyone could see the value of using a share function? You can tell me in chat if you wish. Because, oh my gosh, I just imagine scenarios going through a whole contract and then realizing, oh, they forgot to fill out this one section. You have to do it all over again. So yeah, just imagine the frustration you would save just doing that. It's just mind-blowing. So I see somebody put something on chat. Thank you. You love it. Loudy Carol loves it. Thank you. I love it too. I mean, I just brag about stuff like this because it's just it's going to save you so much time and energy. You're going to love this. Okay. So that was the last tip that I was supposed to show you, but let me show you one other tip or a couple more tips since I have you as a captive audience looking at this. So we're going to look at this together. It's going to go under documents. Now, under residential purchase contract, I'm going to pick on that again. There is something that I do want to show you. So we're going to go into a certain section. Let's see. There we go. N/A fill. Let me get to a section that's applicable. Okay, so let me go to a place that's applicable to it. You're going to see a bunch of, it's like, what does this N/A stuff mean? Okay, here we go. Under more, because my screen is, I don't have the resolution, probably as you have on your computer screen, you probably have more icons than mine at the top. But if I click more and go to N/fill, what's going to happen, and I put in N/fill right here on the screen, and I'm going to apply it. So in all the sections that require some kind of writing, like at 5 p.m. or something else, it's going to do an N/fill, N/A fill. So you see here, and there's different sections over and over again, N/A fill. So you see it throughout there, N/A, N/A. So that way, when you send the contract over to someone, they are not tempted to write in something something that you did not agree with your client. So you don't want anyone else to try to falsify a document or add any extra verbiage that should not be there. So that's N/A. Now, if you've done it, if you accidentally did it, you can delete it. If you want to delete certain areas of it, you can just choose that particular one and delete it. That's N/A. Another one is fast fill. Fast fill is for those of you who are very comfortable with knowing how to fill out the RPA contract. If you are very familiar with it, you don't need to read all the verbiage, then you can just go through this way. It's quick. It's a quick, easy way to answer all the questions rather than reading all the verbiage that goes with it. But you have to be comfortable doing this before you get to this point. So once again, that is it's under fast fill because it's fast to fill it out if you do it this way. Otherwise, I click view and you go back to the original, the way it's supposed to be. One other thing. So that's a couple more things, fast fill and NA/fill. One thing I want to show you is agent visual inspection. Now, there was a reason why I added this in the beginning. Just let me write in something. We write down number one. You're going to be like, what is this talking about? Bath, toilet does not work properly. Okay, so agent visual inspection. You're walking along through the entire house, you're writing all the comments, and you're like, this toilet does not work properly. Now, you could write down a whole bunch of information to explain what it is without being overly specific, or you can use something that notates what's wrong with it and then including a photo. So how do I add a photo? You take pictures, you save it on your computer, and then you can upload it from the computer onto here. How do you upload it? You're going to go onto photos, and I have to be able to see it. Attach a photo, see? Photos, attach photo. I'm going to attach a photo, pulling it from my hard drive. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Half bath wrong. Half bath wrong. When you see the image, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Photo one, I'm going to drag it over to where it applies to in bath one. And then I'm going to scroll down and it's going to be down there. Let me show you where it's at. Let me do preview. Preview. Okay, so this is a preview of the agent visual inspection. So you're like, oh, okay, I've typed in all that, filled it all out, you know, I've done all the hard work. And then here it is at bath one, toilet does not work properly. Photo one. Where is photo one? Where could it be? Well, here is photo one, right there. Oh my goodness. No wonder the toilet will not work properly because only half of it is visual and you cannot use it. You can't lift up that lid. You can't do anything with it. This was one of those websites that showed some errors with remodel. Why did somebody do that? I don't know. But this is a photo that I use when describing how to attach a photo and make things easier for yourself.
I bet
So.
they got 50% off.
Well, maybe. I hope not. Here's your coupon code. Yeah, I don't know. So once again, it's funny. If we use another one, stain at windowsill. Stain at windowsill. Okay. What does that mean? Let's go attach another photo. Going to another photo. Let me scroll down a little bit to make it easier to see. Attach. Now, there is a stain. Now, to me, my gut says, oh, it's probably a water stain. But honestly, I don't know because I didn't do a chemical analysis on it. So I'm going to show you this window stain. So photo one, now this turned into photo two. Photo number two. And we do a preview of it. And you're going to see, with the power of the internet, we're going to go down to, there it is, stain at windowsill. Toilet does not work properly. And then photo number one is going to be, see the stain? Could be chemical, it could be water. I don't know. I just see that as a stain. And that's why you want to keep it somewhat general so that way you don't get in trouble. Because if you say it's a chemical stain, then somebody will ask you, well, have you provided additional documentation to prove that it's a chemical stain? Well, no. Have you proved to do additional documentation to prove it's a water stain coming from this windowsill, leaking from here all the way through? No, I did not. I was just eyeballing it. You eyeballed it. Yeah, that's not going to go well in a court case. No. So that's why you want to keep it somewhat general and include an image, because the image can tell more than what you're saying. Oh, and where's that toilet? There's that half toilet. Yeah. So include photos in your description, make things a little bit easier when doing a form like this. So, etc. So that's adding photos to your contracts. Any other questions? Because looks like we're going at a rocket pace at 4:32 p.m. and we're supposed to be done by 5, but if we have no questions, then yes, I agree. Lottie Carroll, yes, that is awesome. And you know what? It's going to save you so much time and energy trying to type and describe that. No, include the photos. Use the fast fill, include the n/a, make life easier for yourself. But does anyone else have any questions for me? Because I do not have, I have just a couple things and that's about it to let you, before I let you go. And while you're thinking, I'm going to pull that extra couple things while you're thinking. So I see emptiness over here on the screen. That's okay. While I pull in documents, I'm going to pull up. Nope, I don't want that. Where is? Let me make this a little bit easier to read. There we go. All forms. Now with the CRMLS that we use, I'm going to get rid of SBQ. We're going to see seller instructions to place into CRMLS coming soon status. Now, this is something that is a point of issue sometimes when agents don't fill out this form and send it to CRMLS. So you want to make sure that the client wants to post this into MLS at a later time. Perhaps they need to paint the house or they need to do some cleaning on the house, stage it correctly, etc. You want to include this and follow the instructions all the way through. So do take your time to read this. Once again, this is found in the CRMLS library in all forms. So let me show you that again. I'm in the transaction. I'm in documents. I click all forms. And then I can click the library of the CAR, Regional Multiple Listing Service. I click that. And then you're going to see that, oh, there's that seller instructions to place it in CRMLS. You go through the form, go discuss it with your client, have it properly filled out, and then make sure you send it to the right party, CRMLS. So that's something that some agents don't know, and they should know at all times to avoid getting fined. Don't get fined. Those are unnecessary donations. If there's not anything else, let me show you one last thing. Who can you contact in case you have drama? Well, I can't help you with anything more with just membership and key stuff, but here is a way to reach out for assistance with CRMLS, with zipForms. Now, I only work typically Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, sometimes 8 to 5. But sometimes your issues are going to be on the weekends or after hours. You can contact ZipLogix. ZipLogix is 586 area code 840-0140. Once again, 586 area code 840-0140. Now, they're open during this time frame, 24 hours on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. One thing I do want to emphasize is that they are not going to help you with any legal questions. They're going to help you with the software, and that's it. If they tell you that this has to be resolved at your local association, you want to contact CAR support. CAR support is the one that provides you with your zip forms. That's 213-739-8227. Reach out to them and they can be able to assist you. And they have hours during weekdays and limited hours on the weekends. So you can reach out to them. And once again, I did see down here the legal hotline, 213 area code 739-8282. If you need additional support from Lone Wolf, you can reach them at 866-879-9653, option 1. And we also have our video library. So that's our website, ocrealtors.org/video-library. You can go there to see a number of different topics, including zip forms that will assist you. Sorry. And within zip forms, if you want to use the guided help, I would encourage you to do so. What's the guided help, Leo? Uh-oh, I'm losing my ability to read my talk. Sorry. So within zip forms, there is the guided help, which you can lean on for assistance. Sorry. Click help. In-app guided help is right there. So you can be able to type in questions and they can be able to help you through the app here. There's videos that can help you and there's guides that you can read at any time. So once again, there's a number of different ways to get assistance. Guided help is at the very top if you need to take advantage of it. So with that being said, with this scratchy throat, I am going to say, I wish you well. Thank you for joining us. And here is my information once again, if you need to reach me. My name is Leo Loera with the Orange County Realtors. You can reach me at leo@ocrealtors.org. You can reach me by phone number, 714 area code 375-9313. My extension number is 239. If you call the Laguna Hills location by accident, that's okay. Just type in my extension number, 239. That'll get you to me. If I'm not able to answer the call, leave me a voicemail. I'll contact you as soon as I possibly can. And thank you to all those who attended. And I look forward to seeing many more of you in our future zipForm classes. And hopefully we'll see you in our offices when we start teaching classes here. All right, with that, thank you very much and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye now.